Welcome to Storytime. I'm Katy Wayne, and today we're at Moraine Elementary. We'll be reading stories with different variations of the Three Little Pigs. Are you ready for an adventure in reading? Me too. Come on, let's read. Today we're going to read the Three Little Pigs, but I know none of the books that I have are the regular traditional Three Little Pigs. Every one of them is a slightly silly, crazy version of the Three Little Pigs. Are you ready? Yeah. Let's start with The Three Ninja Pigs.
I've heard of that. Yeah, me too.
By Corey Rosenschwartz. Once upon a dangerous time, a wolf loved to huff and to puff. He'd go around town and blow houses down till the Three Little Pigs cried, "Enough!" We've got to get rid of that bully. We're tired of letting him rule. We must put an end to this terrible trend. Let's train at that new ninja school. Pig 1 took beginner Aikido to learn a few basic techniques. He gained some new skills but got bored with the drills and dropped out in less than 2 weeks. His brother, Pig 2, took jujitsu and learned how to block and to punch. When that wolf comes to knock, he'll be in for a shock. Hi-ya! I will eat him for lunch. The teacher said, "Excellent progress. But Pig son, you must study more." Pig 2 said, "No way. Sayonara, sensei. I'm ready to settle a score." Pig 3 chose the art of karate and rose bright and early to train. She got in a groove and mastered each move, the cartwheel, the crescent, the crane. She balanced and blocked like an expert and practiced her lessons nonstop. By the time she was through, she could break boards in two by performing a perfect pork chop. For months, she persisted in earnest until she had paid all her dues. How happy she felt when she earned her last belt. "I'll make that wolf shake in his shoes." Soon after, the wolf paid a visit to the little straw house of Pig 1. "Stay out of my hut or I'll kick your butt. I'm telling you, you'd better run." The wolf took a giant step forward. "Oh yeah? Come and get me," he dared. Pig 1 made a fist. He swung, but he missed. "I wish I'd been way more prepared." The wolf chased Pig 1 to his brothers and hollered, "Hey, pigs, let me in." Pig 2 yelled, "Retreat, or you'll suffer defeat by the hair of my chinny chin chin." One puff and the wolf blew the door down. Pig 2 did his best flying kick. But whoosh, the wolf dodged, and the pig's foot got lodged. "We've got to get out of here, quick!" The chase carried on to their sisters. Pig 3 was outside in her gi. "I'm a certified weapon, so watch where you're stepping. You don't want to start up with me." Pig 3 faced the wolf and bowed deeply, for ninjas are very polite. "Quit huffing and puffing, and I am not bluffing. I warn you, I'm willing to fight." She then gave a swift demonstration with backflips and butterfly kicks. The wolf looked quite shaken, but hollered, "Yo, bacon, I'm not at all scared of your tricks." Pig 3 heaped some bricks in a pile. "I'll show you what else I can do." With one mighty whack, she split the whole stack. Pig 3 said, "That could have been you." The wolf saw that he was outrivaled. He took one last look at Pig 3. I love to eat ham, but I think I should scram before she makes mincemeat of me. The brother pigs high-fived their sister and watched the wolf vanish from view. They cheered, "Ninjas rule! Let's go back to school so we can be ninja pigs too!" They devoted themselves to their training till each proudly earned a degree. 3 pigs full of mojo then ran their own dojo, and life was forever wolf-free. The end. So let's stand up. So in most of the books, what does the wolf do? He huffs and puffs and blows the house down, right? And what does the pig usually say? Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Okay, great. So we're going to just physicalize and act out just that part, okay? For what happens when he comes up to the door. So I want you to do your best wolf. Show me your best wolf. Good wolves. And then show me your stubborn pig. Proud pig, good, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Okay, ready? So the wolf walks up to the house and he says, little pigs, let me in. And the pig says, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. And the pig has to do what? Run! And then the wolf comes up to the house too. Ready? Show me your wolf. And he says, little pigs, let me in. And they say, not by the hair of our chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. And the pigs have to do what? Run! And here comes the wolf. And he says, little pigs, let me in. And they say, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. Does it work? No. Does it work? No. Try one more time. Show me an out-of-breath wolf. Oh, give up on that ham. And have a seat. Let's read The 3 Little Dinosaurs by Jim Harris. Once upon a time, in a thick, steamy jungle, there lived 3 little dinosaurs. One day, their mother called the little dinos in. It's time you went out into the world and made it on your own, she said. But be careful of the big, bad Tyrannosaurus Rex, or he will make dino burgers out of you. The 3 dinosaurs giggled. Right, they said, and they headed out into the jungle. The first little dinosaur wasn't into heavy construction work. He had better things to do. So he gathered some dry grass and quickly heaped it into a shape of a house. This will do nicely, he said. He grabbed some snacks, plugged in his favorite video game, and plopped down in his comfy chair. But before he could blow up that first alien ship, he heard a heavy thump, thump, thump coming to his house. Who could that be, he wondered. Maybe it's the pizza delivery man. But it wasn't the pizza delivery man. It was the Tyrannosaurus Rex. He smelled the little dino inside the straw hut, and his mouth watered. Little pig, let me come in, he growled. No way, Jose, the first little dino shouted back. And don't call me a pig. I'm a dinosaur. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in, yelled the Rex. And he huffed and he puffed and he blew the little grass hut to smithereens. But in the confusion, the first little dino snuck out and ran off to find his brother. The second little dino trudged through the hot jungle until he came to a stegosaurus sitting in a mud hole. What's happening? Asked the second little dino. Making bricks, replied the stegosaurus. Mind if I have a few to build a house with? Asked the second little dino. Sure, the steg said, but you must let them dry for several days under the hot sun before they will be ready. Thanks, cried the second little dino, and off he went with his mud bricks. But the second little dino did not wait to dry the bricks. Instead, he went right ahead and stacked them up into a little house. No sooner had he finished than the first little dino came running up. No problem, said the second little dino after his brother told him about the Rex. You can move in with me. But the Rex had followed the first little dino to the mud brick house. He banged on the door. Little pigs, let me come in, shouted the Rex. And he thought, I'll make a double cheeseburger out of them. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin, called the second little dino. Besides, you didn't say please. And stop calling us pigs, shouted the first little dino. The Rex grinned a sharp, toothy grin. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in. And he huffed and he puffed and he blew, and the little house would not budge. Then he noticed the bricks were not quite dry. Ah, he sighed, and he went and gathered some buckets of water. The Rex climbed up on top of the little house and started pouring water on the roof. At first, the house began to sag. Then it drooped and dripped until finally the soggy little house melted into a puddle of mud. The Rex grabbed up the little dinos, but they were covered in wet, slimy mud, and they slipped out of the Rex's fingers and dashed into the forest. I'll get those little pigs yet, he growled, and set off to follow their muddy trail. Meanwhile, the third little dino hiked through the tall, vine-covered trees until he came to an extinct volcano. The big rocks and boulders gave him an idea. Working very hard, he used the huge boulders to build the foundation and the smaller rocks to build the walls of his house. It was a very large and beautiful house, which was good because no sooner had he finished putting on the door hinges than his two brothers came running up, panting and dripping with mud. Can we stay with you? They squeaked between breaths. You bet, he said. But the Rex was not far behind. Little pigs, let me come in, he called. Hey, Rex, you really need a new opening line, called back the second little pig. And stop calling us pigs, shouted the first little dino. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in, shouted back the Rex. I'm so scared, laughed the third little dino. You can't blow a rock house town. It's your bad breath that has me worried. Don't you ever brush? This, of course, made the Rex very mad. So he huffed his very biggest huff, and he puffed his biggest puff, and he blew and blew till his tongue hung down to his chin. But nothing happened. So he brought his buckets of water, and he poured and poured and poured some more, but he could not melt the house either. But Rex wouldn't give up. Every night he sat up in his house long after bedtime and thought about how to get those 3 little dinos. Now Rex had a brain the size of a peanut, so it took him not days, not months, but years, till one night he finally thought of the answer. "This is brilliant," he shouted. He could just taste those piggy burgers with mustard and melted cheese. The next day, Rex found a long pole and placed it carefully under a giant boulder on the peak of a tall mountain above the rock house. Then he pulled and he tugged, and finally he jumped on the end of the pole. The huge rock tilted over and began to roll faster and faster. It rolled down the side of the mountain, through the forest, across the creek, and then smash! Right into the rock house. "I've done it! I've done it!" he cried, and he raced down to what was left of the 3rd dino's house to get a triple deluxe burger for lunch. But the 3 little dinos weren't there. Where could those little porkers be? He muttered. He was busily looking for them under every rock and didn't notice somebody walking up behind him. "Who is going to pay for this?" demanded a gruff voice. "I hope you've got insurance, Buster." "And stop calling us pigs," added another deeper voice. "It's a good thing we were outside," drawled a third voice. "You could have hurt somebody, fella." The Rex grinned wickedly and turned around quickly to grab the little dinos before they could get away, but he found himself eye to eye with a rather round belly. While Rex had been trying to figure out how to get into the rock house, the little dinosaurs had grown up and up and up. Rex looked up at the 3 great big dinos and turned very pale. Sorry about the house," he squeaked. "I just remember. I got a dentist appointment. Yeah, that's it, a dentist appointment." Then he turned and ran as fast as he could and didn't slow down till he was far, far away. So the 3 brothers built new houses and lived happily ever after. And they never saw hide nor hair of Rex again because he had taken up a quiet, more peaceful life. He'd gone fishing. The end. Thank you for listening to all the different versions of the 3 little pigs. Today we're going to make a craft of the 3 little pigs. Let me show you what we'll need. We'll need a heavy paper like stock paper, any color you want. You'll need a ruler, some characters. I just used some clip art characters of some pigs and a wolf. But you could use a different variation and use dinosaurs or whatever you like. You'll need 4 craft sticks. You'll need some glue, a little bit of markers. You'll need some houses. I chose 3 colors for straw and wood and brick, and I made mine 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles. You could make them a little variation of that. You need 3 triangles. Again, those were 2.5 inch squares that I cut in half, and a little bit of brown for the chimney. Whew. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is make our little puppets, our stick puppets. So I have these craft sticks and I have this clip art that I just found and printed off. You can draw your own and cut them, or you can just find characters that you like. Here we go, just put them on with a little bit of glue. You can add little bow ties or whatever you want to personalize it to your own. and one big bad wolf. There we go. We have all of our characters. Now we're going to start decorating our houses. So here are my houses, and I'm going to use my straight edge ruler to create some doors. So I just need, doesn't have to be perfect, you just put a little door in there. In fact, I think I'm going to use my ruler to create the door. And just create the door, and I'm just going to trace right around my door. And then I'm going to make some lines. I'm going to use a really light touch. You don't have to use a marker. You could use a pen or a pencil just to get that straw kind of feeling. Just move the ruler and make little lines all the way up the house. I'm not going all the way across, but you can. Just nice light lines. Just like that. Now I'm going to do a similar idea with the wood house. I'll draw out my door by tracing around my ruler, just like that. Then I'm going to make wood planks, just pretty much the same way on the bottom. And they don't have to be all exact. Depends on the design that you want. And these I am going to make all the way across, but it's up to you. And then the last thing I did to make it a little bit more like wood was put little nail dots to make it more like it was made of wood. And I put a few little breaks in the big sections of wood and put some dots there on either side so it looked like wood siding. Just like that. So that's my second house. And the last house is a brick house. So I'll make my door. You can cut these out or not, depending on what you like. And then I'm going to make bricks by do a similar technique. And first I'm going to make the lines across. I can make my bricks really big or very skinny. So at first it's going to look like the wood. And then when we put in the separations, it'll start to look a little bit more like bricks. Okay. So every other line, I'm going to put a mark like that. Then I'm going to follow along and I'm going to do the opposite set. Just like that. And then I'm going to continue that pattern. All the way down. Okay, till I have my brick house. Great. Now we can put everything together. So I want my straw house and my wood house. For me, it helps to lay it all out first before I glue it down. And then I'll put my brick house. And then I need a roof on the different houses. And I think I'll make my straw house just a little bit shorter. And my wood house just a little bit taller than that one. And my brick house the tallest one of all. And my brick house has to have a chimney. There we go. So I'm going to glue that all down and then I'm going to decorate it with the markers. So I'll take my house, I'll put some glue right on there. And I'll attach it. I'm going to keep it up just a little bit above the bottom of the paper because I'm going to decorate mine with a little bit of grass. You can always cut those doors open if you want. I'm going to do a version without the cut open doors. It's up to you. Okay, there we go. I'll attach the wood. House. Right about there. And last is the brick house. When I attach this one, I'm going to leave the top part loose there for a second while I put the chimney in. I can put the chimney on either side, wherever I want it. I think I'll put it over here. Then I can press them both down at the same time. Now I'm going to use my markers to just add a little detail, a little more interest to the picture. So I'm going to start with a little smoke coming out of this chimney here. Let it trail off there a little bit. Great. Just like that. I'm going to add a little grass to the bottom of the houses. Right up to the door. A little higher between them, maybe. Okay. Higher over here, maybe. And then I'm just going to add a little sunlight up in this corner. You could always add birds or clouds or whatever you like in your picture. If you feel like there's some space that needs to be filled in, go ahead, be creative, find a way to fill it in. All right. And when you have it just the way you like, you can have your characters and your houses. And you can go ahead and reenact your own version of the Three Little Pigs. Be creative, have fun. Well, that's all the time we have today at Moraine Elementary. Remember, if you'd like us to visit your school, ask your teacher, your principal, or your librarian to contact us. See you next time. Bye-bye.